Hello, Nerd Mom here, and I have something super fun to review today. It's not a book, it's not a movie, it is, I don't know if you can see this, the HTC Vive. It's the new virtual reality thing. So this is just the lid of the box that it comes in. I'll show you the rest of it. Oh, it comes in this huge box, but it's all nice and padded and everything. So the first thing to understand about this is that there are a lot of components. This is definitely like a first generation technology. There's a lot of wires, there's a lot of stuff to connect up. Let me find the parts. First is the headset, which it's fairly heavy. It's got, this thing that you can adjust to different head sizes. It came with two different mask parts so that you can have one for a narrow face or a wide face. I thought maybe we'd have to change them for the kid, but actually this one works fine on both of the kids we've tried it out on. But it's got this big wire that has to be plugged into a box, which has to be plugged into your computer. So you've got this trailing everywhere. Then you need to have your own set of headphones if you want the sound, which you really do, that go on, there's no headphones that come with this. So you have to have your own headphones. They go on top of this. Then you've got another wire that's plugging into this for the sound. Then you've got these two controllers, which are super, super sensitive. These are way beyond the Wii controllers or that PlayStation, the ones with the bulbs on the top that came out a few years ago. These are amazing. I don't know what's in these little hole thingies, but when you get into the VR, you can see exact representations of these in the world wherever you are, and it recognizes wherever you touch on this, wherever you push on it. It's really amazing because these are very, very super high quality. And then you need two of these little boxes. These basically shoot a crosshatch of lasers over your room so that it can know where you are and what you're doing and where your controllers are and stuff. So you have one of these on each side of your room. They need to be high up. It comes with brackets that you can put them on. We haven't installed them yet because we're not quite sure what our setup is going to be. So you need two of those, and then you need a computer, obviously, and a high-quality graphics card. You can look it up online what you need. Ours is not quite good enough. I'm not sure what we have. My husband's responsible for that, but it's not quite good enough, so we can play with this, but we're ordering another one now. So that is sort of the setup. As I said, definitely a first generation sort of thing. I would have preferred probably like a helmet that has the earphones built in, so you don't have to worry about so many cords going everywhere. All that said and done, this thing is amazing. I was not keen to get this. My husband was the one who has been pushing for this for months and months and months. He kept saying, I'm going to get it, I'm going to get it. I was like, oh gosh, I do not want to spend that much on another gaming device because we have all of the gaming devices. And to tell you the truth, I'm not a huge gamer. My husband works in games. He's a software engineer and he works in the field. So we have all the stuff. My kids are gamers, but it's something I could take or leave. I was really impressed. I think this went over better with me than it did my husband. For him, it was sort of like just another gaming experience to add to a bunch. For me, this is something that I would play and I do want to play. So that was cool. I think partly because I am super visual. Once I got in that environment, it feels really not real, but it feels very immediate. So when something comes at you, you intellectually know it's not real, but all of your reflexes are screaming, oh my gosh, this thing is attacking me, or this person is in the room with me, and it's very unlike any other gaming experience I've had in my life. And as for the term gaming, I haven't even tried any games yet. We've only tried, so I've only tried the tutorial, which in itself is pretty amazing just visually. And I've tried Valve's The Lab, which contains a bunch of different little mini experiences that you can have. And I've tried Tilt Brush, which is where you can paint in 3D using a bunch of different things. So those are all amazing. There's one or two experiences within the lab that something is right there. There's one that has the portal robot that comes out and you interact with it and stuff, and it just steps into the room with you. And that was amazing. And it was really freaky and amazing at the same time. There's also a little magic shop. It sort of takes the experience of when you're in a video game, you have to go into the store and buy potions or whatever, which is normally just sort of a routine experience that you go in, you get your stuff, get out. And it suddenly becomes real. There's all these things in the magic shop. The proprietor walks in and it's there and it's in front of you. And I don't even know how to explain how amazing this is. So let's go to the kids experience. He's 6 years old. We tried it with him and we tried it with a bunny of his who is a little bit younger, but also 6 years old. So the one thing that you have to understand about this is that you have about I would say like a 5x8 box that you're sort of interacting in. If you have to take a controller and map out the room that you're in so that it knows how much space that you have when you begin. So it calibrates to that. And if you get to the edge of that, some lines come up to show you, you're going to bonk into the wall or something. So you can't just obviously run off into the VR world. If you need to move around to different places, you use your controller to point and click and it teleports you there. We found this pretty intuitive. Like I said, I'm not a big gamer, but it was very easy for me to figure out. And after a while, it just seemed natural. I didn't feel like I needed to walk from one place to another. It was like, okay, just point, click, I'm there, point, click, I'm there. And it didn't really interrupt my experience. It was a little more difficult for the kids to understand. My son also caught on pretty quick. He knew that, he could feel the cable brushing against his leg when he walked one way or the other. So he knew he couldn't just take off and run. But his friend, that never clicked for him. So he was going over and he'd be bumping into the window because even though he saw those guidelines within the game, I think he was just so immersed in the experience and it felt so real to him that he wasn't cognitively paying attention to that. He wasn't consciously saying, oh, I need to stop or whatever. So we had to keep pulling him back to the center and remind him, if you want to go somewhere, you need to click around. So that was interesting, which sort of brings up a point. This is not an experience currently that you can have by yourself. For several reasons, just because of all the setup, because you're in all of this gear and you have your controllers and everything, you really need another person to help you get in and out of this. And it's a good idea to just have someone nearby in case you do walk into a wall, because sometimes you get out of your space and you're not sure where you are. So this is really definitely a two-person experience. So, when my husband plays it in the evening, I'll sit on the couch and have my computer there while he does it, just to keep an eye on things. And also for me, there was one experience that was in the magic shop. I don't want to spoil it too much for anybody who wants to try it, but there's kind of a big monster that comes and tears the top off of it. And that was so freaky for me, even though it was obviously not real, that I ended up on the floor, curled into a little ball. And it's like you forget that this is a mask that you could take off, or that you could just close your eyes and make it all go away. You totally forget that you have, that you can just remove it and it's all gone. So when you're freaking out, it's nice to have somebody else there to say, hey, it's okay, and get you out of it. I feel like I'm talking about it like it's a hallucinogenic experience or something. It is kind of. I also want to talk about a little bit about the quality of the just the visual field that you have. The resolution is not perfect. You can I think this is sort of like the highest end VR thing that's out right now. But you can definitely like see the pixels, you can see the individual things. The whole thing is pretty smooth, although with our lower quality graphics card, when it was in the loading screens and stuff, things started to get a little jittery, and we couldn't play any like of the super complex games yet. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But yeah, it's not a perfect visual experience. It's not like, wow, this is like reality, and it's not even as good as my computer screen here. Just because I think the lenses and stuff are still in a, like I said, first generation state. But you really don't notice that, and in a way, it almost helps remind you that this is not real, because you do kind of need to be reminded from time to time. So that's interesting. Let's see. Let's talk about some things. The kid, okay, he got quickly overwhelmed. Like, he went into the magic shop and it was kind of like, nope, 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 this is too intense for me. I can't do this. And he backed out of it quickly. So he was much more comfortable with sort of the gentle experiences where he could control the environment and it was a little bit removed and he could approach it at his own pace. So there's nothing jumping at him or anything like that. He really liked the job simulator. I haven't played it myself, but I watched it on the screen as he was doing it. You can have several different like real world job experiences. It's kind of cartoony, and your controllers turn into these hands that you're kind of using, and it's really a little awkward. You're bumping stuff around and you can't reliably pick stuff up. But they have different environments. Like there's a cook one, like we were in a kitchen and you can do different stuff. There's an office one. It was super fun for him because he's a kid and he gets to be let loose in these adult environments and sort of play pretend in a real large sized way. If I had any criticism for those, is that I feel like they need to have an ability to scale down a little bit, or maybe to be able to move up to like a higher level, because he was too short to reach a lot of this stuff in the job simulator. So he'd be going and he'd say, hey, I need a lift, and we run over and pick him up, oh thank you, and put him back down. So that was really fun for him, but I feel like it needs to be for little short guys. I tried the tilt brush. He tried the tilt brush, which is the painting in 3D. That was fun, but honestly, I thought that was going to be the neatest part for me. But I could honestly take that one or leave it. I really enjoyed in the lab, in addition to the magic shop and the portal robot one, there's like a solar system, there's a human body that you can go through. There's a bunch of little experiences, and so I haven't even got to the like quote unquote gaming part, and it's really enjoyable. Although I would say this is not an experience where you come home and say, oh, I really want to relax, I'm going to put on my VR and it's not relaxing. It is an immersive experience, and it's very visceral and gets your heart pumping, which is a good thing, I think. But we're all sort of like addicted to it at the moment. And we don't have the capacity yet to set it up. We're going to have to work on that a little bit. So it's a big put it all up, take it down sort of thing. So we can only do it on the weekends right now. Let's see, is there anything else that I wanted to say? Oh, just my kid, his first experience of it was so fun to watch. When we put it on, I was going to try to get him into the tutorial first, but what he ended up seeing was sort of the menu loading page that Steam has set up, which is just sort of like a domed environment with like stars, and there's like a planet and stuff. And when that popped up for him, he just started giggling uncontrollably. It was kind of like he was drunk or something, and it was like, oh my gosh. Which is kind of amazing because my kid has grown up with all of these games around. So he's used to technology much more so than I am. He's got the iPad, he's got a Nintendo DS, and we've got all the consoles. He's played every game around the block, right? He knows. But when he put this on, it was like, oh my gosh, what is this? And he was just giggling. And when he saw the controllers that were, he couldn't see our floor, but when he saw that the controllers represented the game, he was like, oh my I can see the controllers. And it was just overwhelming and amazing for him. It was really, really fun to watch that. And apparently, according to my husband, this was also similar to my response. My husband really enjoyed watching me really get into this because he likes it when I get into his gaming stuff. So he was kind of more thrilled to watch me experience this than he was to experience it himself, I think. So overall, this is not something I would say that you want to invest in unless you have a computer expert in your house who knows what they're doing. Thankfully, I have my husband because I don't think I would be able to set this up myself. It's a little complicated, and there's a lot of stuff that go into what kind of computer hardware that you need. So I would say definitely do your research. It's definitely a pricey item. So yeah. I would say for most families, I would be waiting for the next generation of this to come out, something a little more streamlined. But this has been extremely fun for our family to experience, and we're going to have to start inviting all of our friends over so that they can experience it too. So yeah, that is my sort of review introduction to the HTC Vive. Thanks for watching.